Cheyenne is bold. Okay, she want all the smoke being all up in Zach's face because, like, what was she thinking, honey? Because Fatima, let's get into this show review. Hey, Chatterboxes. Hey, I'm Nele, and welcome to Easy Convos, your cozy spot where we kiki about the latest TV shows, both scripted and reality. Pop culture and what's buzzing on social media. Get comfortable. Grab your snacks, your tea, your blanket, hit the like button, subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload. Today's Easy Convo with a little kiki is Tyler Perry's Sistas Season 10, Episode 7. Leaving to stay. Let's get into this. Okay. So we're going to start off with Rich. You know, I try to leave the meat and potatoes for later and start off with the hors d'oeuvres, but we're going to mix it up today. Okay. But Madison Truitt is at Fuel hanging out. Like I said in my last show review, she really don't have her storyline is building. She don't have nowhere to go just yet. She don't really have a place. Her only place right now is Fuel. I guess till the guys go work out at the gym, and then maybe she'll be at the gym. Okay, because since she did win the bid for the gym and she on the gym, maybe she'll be at the gym. But she all in Rich's business, asking him how he doing because he looked some kind of way and looked kind of bothered when he came back into Fuel, and Rich let her know he had been at the hospital visiting a friend. Rich congratulated Madison on getting the gym, and she wanted to know, like, how did he know about that? Because she ain't told nobody about that, because, you know, she told him it was going to be a business proposal, but she wouldn't tell him what, who, no details or nothing about it, right? He gonna claim the cross-promotion she wanted to do is how he knew. Man, no, he knew he didn't have a clue what business venture she was up to when she was talking about that. But he went on and told Madison the truth. He knew she outbid a friend of his for the gym. Rich didn't know his friend, which we know is Zach, had bid for the gym. Anyway, he on and got Madison one of his special smoothies or whatever, so forth and so on. But yeah, that's the most they showed about them. So let's talk about Maurice. And honey, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I seen this situation coming a mile away. India called Maurice into the office down over here at the Brookhaven Bank, baby. Probably over his extended break, though Paige tried to cover for him by saying, you know, he had a headache or whatever. India started off by wanting to know if Maurice had visited Sabrina, inquiring about Sabrina's condition, like she was really sincerely concerned. I don't think she cared. I don't think she cared one bit or another about how Sabrina was doing or nothing like that. She gonna ask Maurice, did he realize Sabrina won't be back for a long time, if she even be back at all? And I thought that was so insensitive of her to say that, knowing that Maurice and Sabrina was close and how bothered he is about Sabrina being sick or whatever. And I feel like she was really being a witch about it. But India told Maurice his extended breaks and his flippant behavior could no longer continue now that Sabrina wasn't there, because she wasn't tolerating it, because Sabrina basically allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do because he was close friends, but not her. Okay, to make things worse, Maurice still got smart at the mouth with India, and I felt like he was. I got a sign coming because he turned his nose up the minute she walked in there, and I was like, as soon as she started talking, I was like, he finna snap. It's about to go down. I was like, he losing his composure. It's about to happen. So he even told India that she had a problem because she was out for blood. she let it slide because she know he was going through things with Sabrina being in her state or whatnot or what have you, but she need Maurice to sign a verbal warning that she typing up. Okay. But Maurice go on back out, into their work area, whatever, in the bank, and he's standing there and he having flashbacks of everything he and India had talked about in the meeting. Then it come back to him, Paige calling him, telling him about Sabrina's accident. Then India asking how Sabrina was doing. Then he going back and forth between the things that India said and then things like events that's done happened. Him telling Daddy what happened to Sabrina. Then him going into Sabrina's room and seeing her. Then back to his conversation with India saying his behavior couldn't continue with Sabrina being gone. And then he saw himself crying over Sabrina's bedside and touching her and everything. And then he snapped out of it and he called Dylan and said he was only at the bank because of Sabrina in the first place. But I didn't see it like that because, when they got out of jail and everything and Sabrina got her job back, he was telling Sabrina, well, are you going to hire me? I need my job back. So you wasn't only at that bank because of Sabrina. You was at the bank because you needed a job. So don't be like you was only there because of Sabrina, because no, you was there because you needed a job too. And it was easier for you to get on there because Sabrina was your friend. Okay, let's clear that up, Maurice. Let's get it right. Anyway, but now he gonna do what they discussed. So I'm like, what y'all done discussed? Is Maurice about to leave, honey? So when India came to have him sign his little write-up, his little written verbal warning, he snapped out on her, honey. He started crashing out. And he signed a little paper, and I was like, ooh, he didn't sign his name. I bet he said, I quit. But he told India to read it and look at it closely because he said he effing quit. He told India the truth, and that is something happened. If something happened to her, they would be just as insensitive with her as they have been with Sabrina and find the next person of color to replace her, and they will. And Maurice said it's a special place in hell for India with her mean arts, and maybe someone will have mercy on her. I don't know. She kind of mean. She can go straight to hell and walk right on out that bank. Honey, India she jumped back. She was speechless. But y'all, poor Paige was on that counter yelling for Maurice not to leave her. I feel so sorry for Paige because I was like, don't leave Paige. Because at this point, I like he and Paige friendship. I didn't want him to leave Paige. I was like, no, because I like me some Maurice and Paige. At this point, I was like, don't leave her. Don't leave Paige. But Maurice went directly to the salon, and I knew this where he was going, and he went to talk to Pam. And he let her know he was there for good, child, because he had left the bank. And Maurice filled Pam in on India trying to write him up and him walking out of the bank and everything. But when Danny do get back to feeling better, I'm going to be here for Danny, Maurice, and Pam working together at the bank. And I've always wanted Pam and Maurice to be best friends. If you follow me on Twitter, I have 2 Twitters. This Easy Convos is fairly new because I started this from my vlogging, separated it from my vlogging channel. But on my vlogging channel, All Things Nele, you see I've always said on there I need Pam and Maurice to be best friends, and I'm so happy that they finally closed. Like I've always wanted that and advocated for them to be best friends. Okay, now. Maurice wants to know why the salon is empty. No stylists, no customers, nothing. So Pam said the salon needs stylists, especially since Karen gone and she doing less hair because she having to run the business. Child, when did Pam start doing hair? Other than the other day when she was trying to lay some edges and she wasn't doing it very well. I only ever seen Pam ask the receptionist and at the reception desk ever since this show been coming on. Y'all better leave it in the comments below and let me know when y'all ever done heard that Pam was a stylist. But anyway, there's no ad listed for no new stylist because Maurice told Pam don't make no more big decisions without him and Danny. So now they need to get that done ASAP and get a listing in for some stylists. Well, Maurice said he gonna call Danny to check everything out with her. I don't know if he gonna get a hold to because Danny going down through there right now. Now they have the blueprints. Now that they have the blueprints, they can look into doing the nail station and maybe a massage room with or without happy endings. They're going to go to jail trying to have a massage room with happy endings. They so nasty. I think they should offer waxings too, because what's a salon without waxing? Because everybody need a good waxing, especially for their Hello Kitty. But anyway, we gonna get into Danny and Tony. Tony's still trying to find out who Danny's attacker is. Danny let Tony know she didn't meet some random guy. Basically, make up your mind. Cause see, like the last couple of episodes, you try to just make it sound like it's a random dude that followed you home. But anyway, she just didn't meet some random and bring him to her apartment, entice the guy or nothing like that. She's not meeting random guys on dating outs or nothing like that. That's not what Tony was even wondering in the first place, outside of his feelings being hurt or whatever. But anyway, Danny said the guy followed her home from the grocery store, but the story ain't making sense. She's going to have to make it make sense, because you just can't say you didn't meet nobody random, but then a guy followed you home from the grocery store, because that sounded like a random guy followed you home from the grocery store. You got to let them know it's somebody that you already knew. But anyway, Tony was glad he wasn't a serial killer, a sex trafficker, an organ harvester or something, nothing like that. She just sorry about cheating on Tony altogether. But Tony wants Danny to be truly okay, but not just saying she okay just to push everybody away. But Danny just wants to reevaluate her life and learn to stop making so many mistakes, because she always doing stuff like this. Because like this not the first time this happened to her, and the first time she been attacked and she done had trouble or whatever. But Tony is addressing his own issues, like his issue with gambling and his gambling habits, accepting that it was more than just a hobby. Danny said Tony almost losing his house should have made him realize that. What? He almost lost his house. Now, I know he was trying to put the house up for rent and move into Danny, but him almost losing his house? Like, what the what? Ooh, child. Dang, Tony. Like, I'm glad he acknowledging it, though. The fact that his gambling drove a wedge between them, though, so that makes it a problem. Tony is finally, y'all, finally he accepted it. He finally admitted he shouldn't have taken the money without asking. Honey, I didn't think we was going to ever get to that point that he finally admitted that he shouldn't have took the money without asking. But anyway, Lord, this shouldn't have had to happen for us to get here. Danny admitted she should have had more patience and understanding toward Tony. They both apologized to each other and told each other they were sorry. And I feel like that, my personal opinion, that Danny and Tony are working toward getting back together at this point. Tony still feels like fully responsible for what happened to Danny, because he feels like his gambling started the whole chain of events that led up to Danny getting attacked. And Danny told Tony it's just not about him. She feel like it's just her actions that made it happen, and it's just not about anything Tony did, and it's just not about Tony. Tony don't want them to throw away their relationship just yet. And the way I've been really wanting Tony going and press him back, I hate to admit it, I was glad to hear him say that, okay? Danny just wants to be alone and think. Tony doesn't really want to leave her, but agrees to let her have some time alone. And I really didn't want Tony to leave. That's why I was like, I don't like Tony, but then I'm glad Tony there. Then I didn't want Tony to leave because I just didn't want her to be by herself. But Danny pulls out her phone and calls who I'm assuming gonna be Creisha soon as Tony leaves. And that brings us to Cheyenne. Y'all, I have got to say, I gotta say, I look forward to them showing Cheyenne because I don't never know what this girl about to do. And I be looking forward to seeing. Cheyenne went down to the law firm, but Andy is out to lunch, honey. And Cheyenne insists on seeing Andy's office instead of waiting for her in the little waiting area. And baby, why is she dressed like a cheap hooker? Like, who cuts off a shirt like that? The shirt is cut off and strangled. Like, then it looks like it's a whole man shirt that she cut off at that. Honey, she looked like she always look like she been rolled hard and put up with every time you see her. Then she had the nerve to plop down in Andy's chair, honey. The receptionist was doing her best to get her out of there, like she really wanted her out of the office because she could tell she wasn't nothing but trouble. But she just sightseeing all up and through the office, honey. Lo and behold, then Cheyenne ran into Hayden. That's the last person she needed to be seeing. Of course, he tried to shoot his shot with her, and she claimed she wasn't interested. So she said, but honey, we already done seen the preview, so we know somewhere gonna materialize. But just she told Hayden she was just trying to find her sister, but she still ain't said who her sister is yet. So wait until Hayden see who her sister is. Hayden did give Cheyenne his business card. So later, while Hayden trying to figure out who was in his office and how his desk got broken, Cheyenne called him and told Hayden he can take her out for dinner. Now Hayden talking about what's in it for him. Already wanting sex, and he just met her, don't know how old she is and nothing, trying to get in her underwear. Cheyenne basically said nothing for a complete stranger. They just met, but I don't trust Cheyenne. You already done slept with 2 or 3 complete strangers butt naked at the pool, honey. So don't try to act like you wholesome now. But anyway, let's talk about Zach and Fatima. Now, y'all know I done got a little annoyed with some of their storyline because I'm tired of it being just so much about sex. Like, it get old to me. And hunting like rabbits, like, it just gets, it gets so tiresome to me. Like, fine, I just feel like Zach and Fatima relationship is so much more than the sex. And I feel like letting the writers focus on that and just talk strictly and purely about that does not do their characters justice, is all I'm saying. Zach is at the law firm to surprise Fatima, but she's out to lunch with Andy. So the receptionist told Zach, he could wait in Fatima's office because she accustomed to him coming, know why he there, know, what he coming for and everything like that. And Zach just wants to leave Fatima a little note in her office and everything that he came by to surprise her and whatnot. So he go down there to her office to leave her a little love letter, little note. Zach came back to the receptionist desk to ask if maybe the receptionist knew, where Andy and Fatima went out to eat, maybe what restaurant, what have you. Cheyenne saw him, came strutting over, tried to hook him up by his arm, grabbed him up, pretending she was trying to save herself from falling. Girl, if you don't get your hands off Zach ASAP. She was all over him like a whore in heat, honey. Sniffing him all up in his personal space. He was looking at the reception for help. He had to take his finger and back her up by the forehead. I'm like, this bitch is crazy. Like, it was ridiculous. It was to the point, it was literally disgusting. When he told Cheyenne the scene he was wearing was called Taken by Fatima, y'all, I howled laughter like a coyote so loud. Because he already know Fatima gonna crash out. Zach told Cheyenne, hold on. I think he told Cheyenne, like, how old is she even? But she was talking about like she old enough, like she a woman. Cheyenne flipping her hair around, talking about she old enough. She didn't believe Zach when he told her he was taken and had a woman. Like, Cheyenne apparently assumes everybody wants her, honey. She has got to get a grip. But Cheyenne just rubbing and touching all over Zach's face, up in his face, trying to entice him. The receptionist was disgusted. Cheyenne swears Zach was checking her out. Girl, no, he didn't. He didn't even see you until you grabbed him. He ain't not checked you out not once. He been trying to back you up out of his space. Even then, he didn't try to check you out. Okay, Cheyenne trying to show Zach her little bitty piece of booty, asking if he's sure he didn't see anything he liked. Zach looking at the reception like, is this really happening? Child, help me. The reception looking at Zach like, is Cheyenne serious? Because this is like disgusting. Like, let's be for real right now, okay? Zach is not interested. Cheyenne is all over Zach at that point. He is basically on the receptionist counter, just like lean back, and honey, Fatima and Andy walked in. Andy heart dropped. She was like, oh my God. Andy just knew Fatima was about to F Cheyenne up. And y'all ain't gonna lie, I wanted Fatima to yoke that girl up so bad by her collar. Girl, I don't condone violence, but I want to Fatima to yoke her up quick. Zach swore it was nothing going on. It was not him. And it wasn't him. He had a witness. The receptionist was sitting right there witnessing the whole thing. So, honey, Fatima had a death glare locked in on Cheyenne that it could have burnt holes through her, okay? When Andy asked Cheyenne what was she doing, Fatima realized at that point when she said Cheyenne that was Andy's sister. Zach said, her sister? Cheyenne gonna have the nerve to call Zach Bay. This girl has a death wish, okay? Fatima told Andy she better get her sister. Andy was scared as hell. She didn't know what to do. Andy tried to figure out why Cheyenne was even at the office, period, anyway, already causing trouble. Cheyenne talking about she wanted to check out where Andy worked at. Andy said, dressed like that? I told y'all she was dressed like a cheap hooker. Told Cheyenne she was walking around dressed inappropriately. And Cheyenne like, honey, she just there to visit, not try to get no job. Now, Cheyenne claims she was out job hunting, just stopped by the law firm to visit Andy. Y'all, think about this. What if Hayden tried to hire Cheyenne to be like his secretary or something? Wouldn't that be a mess? I'm like, Andy, how Cheyenne out job hunting dressed like a hooker? On top of that, why was she sexually assaulting Zach? Because that's sexual assault at this point. Cheyenne claimed that they were trying to get to know each other while still trying to feel all up on Zach. And Zach said, no, they wasn't. Fatima went to reach in her purse, and Zach and Andy thought she was about to pull out her gun, honey. And she, on Cheyenne. And they was jumping and running. Fatima's like, what's wrong with y'all? I'm just trying to get a napkin, wipe my nose. Cheyenne asked Fatima, like, who was she, and was turning out her nose up at Fatima and everything. And Fatima was trying her best to keep her composure when she told Cheyenne her name was Fatima and everything, and she worked with Andy. But Fatima was losing it, baby. When she was reaching for, then she said she was reaching for the other side of her purse. I knew it. Andy told Cheyenne to fall back on this one, honey. She don't know what she getting herself into right now. I'm telling you, like, this little girl about to get effed up for real. Cheyenne gonna try to like step in Zach's space again and tell him later. But Fatima told Andy she about to be the only child for Miss Valerie. Andy sent Cheyenne home before she got dealt with. But Zach told Andy Cheyenne was wild, honey. Zach has no idea. Andy told Fatima, does she now see what she having to deal with? Fatima like, well, okay, but warn her about me and mine, okay? Because Cheyenne was very disrespectful. Andy apologized to Zach and Fatima for Cheyenne's behavior before going to her office. But anyway, Zach told Fatima that he didn't get the gym and they went on their way. They was going to go down to Fatima's office. But on their way to Fatima's office, they ran into Hayden yet again. And Hayden still talking trash to Zach or whatever. And then when he gonna get a little piece away from Zach, he gonna yell, he gonna beat Zach, or then gonna run off when he thought Zach was about to come punch him up. Make me sick. Hayden is so stupid. Zach wanted to know where everyone was in the office since it was so quiet and empty. So some was out of retreat, Andy was in her office, other partners and workers was traveling, and Hayden, of course, had just went out to a meeting. So Zach wanted to have sex with Fatima in the office since it had been one of his fantasies. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I need more from them than just this, because this is all they ever want to do. And I just still feel like their relationship is more than this. But anyway, you can see into Fatima's office, so they couldn't do it in there. So they went into Hayes' office as he was going to be out to do it in there. And IDK, but I ain't risking my job for no sex. It's just not going to happen. I don't need an adrenaline rush, excuse me, like that. So Fatima and Zach was getting on in there in Hayden's office and done broke his desk. They so messy. Then scurried out of there when Zach couldn't fix it. Then when Hayden came back, Fatima was in the conference room trying not to laugh about Hayden finding his desk broken. And Hayden just sitting there looking at the desk, trying to figure out what happened to it. Because it was broke. But now, let's talk about Andy. So Andy's in her office working real hard, minding her business, when Dr. Vaughn comes in to visit her, and he brings in this huge, beautiful bouquet of flowers. Bouquet. Let me say it right, y'all know I'm country. Bouquet of flowers. Dr. Vaughn brought Andy lavender and purple flowers because they represent love at first sight, sincerity, and what did he say? Fascination. He glad he and Andy finally cleared the air between them and everything, and that Andy finally, listened to him and, let him explain everything. They both have been thinking about each other. Dr. Vaughn wants them to have dinner together soon. Andy still trying to not go out with Dr. Vaughn, giving all these excuses. And he told Andy he didn't have any expectations other than getting to know her. He, wasn't expecting this, that, and the other from her. He just simply want to get to know her. The universe has brought them together for a reason. He just wants to start as friends. And Andy finally agreed to have dinner with Dr. Vaughn, and I'm glad she did, because they turning out to be cute together. Since I can't get Robin back, I guess I'm going to have to take Dr. Vaughn. She did tell him she needs to run home and change and check on her sister first, and Dr. Vaughn was cool with that. He going to finalize their little plans for dinner and then text her, and he going to come by and scoop her up. And Dr. Vaughn, was all happy and excited, and he's scurry on away, and they going to have new beginnings and try to start their little journey over whatever. But let's talk about what's next on Sistas. So next, Andy told Cheyenne she hoped she wasn't about to go out and do anything that would have her going to jail. She would not be available to bail her out of jail tonight, honey, because she had her own plans. Andy asked Cheyenne who was she seeing, and Cheyenne told her Hayden, honey. Fatima makes a call to someone because she has a situation she needs help with, asking how many can they give. Now, I hope she personally called him Madam, because y'all know how much I like saying Madam on the show. Dr. Vaughn picked Andy up for her date, and she all nervous saying, what is she doing? Like, what do you mean? What are you doing? You going out on a date? Is it more to it? But anyway, Detective Watts was telling Andy when he called her, well, I don't know who called who, but they were on the phone talking, and he was telling Andy she was real fortunate to not have been unalive. And I'm assuming assume it's by the explosion, or I'm wondering if they had another incident. We're going to have to stay tuned to see. Danny is visiting Sabrina at the hospital, and I call that lady the caseworker, but the woman is asking about a next of kin for Sabrina, and Danny thought she was Sabrina's next of kin. Well, the lady said she only Sabrina's next of kin on Sabrina's bank paperwork. Danny went on and visited Sabrina and told her she really needs her sister back. She needs Sabrina to really wake up. Hayden and Cheyenne are out at dinner, and he's still trying to get between her legs and wanting to get closer. And you can see Cheyenne contemplating that happening, honey. Danny has therapy with Creisha. She tells Creisha she is not going to the police, and Creisha doesn't understand why she won't, because the man that attacked her is the police. But I'm hoping Creisha can get through to her and get her to tell her who it is. But that is it for today's Easy Convo. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay cozy and keep that tea hot until our next Easy Convos. Have y'all started watching Bridgerton? Let me know in the comments below. Love you guys. Bye.